Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way.
Are we kicking it off?
We're kicking her.
All right.
Episode 9.
We're on episode 9.
Feeling
fine.
You got it. Good. Well, let's start by saying that this is a televised podcast. So if you head over to our YouTube channel, Toronto Livings, just go to YouTube, open Toronto Livings.
Yeah.
Search Toronto Livings.
Search Toronto Livings.
Okay. Time for a coffee.
Let's do it. Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. I feel better already.
Oh, it's immediate. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good coffee. How you been?
I have been good. I have been great this week, actually.
Great. I like it.
Yeah, I have been great this week.
What's been great about this week?
Well, I finally got, it's the sold or conditional has officially been erased, and we are now sold firm.
Love it. High five. Right off the hop.
Right off the hop.
Good job, buddy. That was a difficult one. That was the bidding war one.
That was the bidding war one.
Yeah.
Back and forth, got all the due diligence done.
Nice.
Got everything done nice and clean. And congratulations to our buyers because they scored a nice spot.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear. And they're excited, I hope.
Yes. Yeah. Very much so.
Cool. What else did you get up to?
This week. So this week was Molly's birthday week.
Happy birthday, Molly.
Yes. We had some events go down this week.
Kat?
We had some events. So for her birthday.
Did you surprise her or was it?
No. Nothing was a surprise.
Okay.
There was two things that happened. One weird one.
Okay.
We went to, for her birthday, she requested an ice cream cake.
Fair.
So we ended up at Dairy Queen.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And, but then the weird thing happened where we decided to get dinner. She wanted dinner at Dairy Queen.
Okay. So this is coming from a guy who drinks Tim Hortons coffee.
Okay. Yeah. I got a comment about that as well.
All right. Lay it on me. You went to DQ. You had
food. We had food. We had burgers.
Oh God.
Yeah, we had burgers and she got chicken fingers.
I was gonna say they're known for their chicken fingers.
Okay, are they?
They are.
Okay,
I think.
So she's been trying to convince me to have this for so long.
Yeah.
And finally we did it. And I will tell you something. The burger that I had was hands down the nastiest burger.
Okay. I wasn't sure where you were going with that. I'm like, I can't support you on Tim Hortons and DQ burgers. Okay.
I had no hope going in, and I was absolutely right. You're
spot on with your assessment of it.
Spot on.
Okay, here's my dad's. My dad's got some. This is the one thing that always sticks out to me. His advice with Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
You go to Dairy Queen for ice cream.
Yeah.
You don't get anything else on the menu. You stick to what they do best.
No. This place. So she had a Dairy Queen. I think it was Orangeville or Shelburne.
Yeah.
Whenever she was at the time, she used to go often. I think it was Orangeville.
Okay.
And and they used to eat regular. They used to regularly go to get the burgers.
That's a big no-no in my family.
Yeah,
you stick to ice cream at DQ. You want a burger,
fair.
you go to Harvey's. It's a wonderful thing.
I support it. 100%.
So she enjoyed her birthday dinner though.
You know what? She pretended to. And then afterwards she said, I'll be honest with you, the chicken fingers were a little old.
Well, happy birthday and ELS Molly.
Yes.
You still deserved it. What type of ice cream cake did you get?
It was just like a vanilla.
Okay.
It was a what do you call it? A tunnel cake?
Oh.
It was one of the logs.
The logs.
It looks like a log.
Yeah. Okay. Tunnel cake. Is it called that?
Yeah, it's like a log cake or something.
I call it log cake.
Yeah.
I didn't know tunnel cake was a thing.
No, maybe I just made it up.
Well, it is now. Awesome.
And then one more piece to add to that.
Please.
Because if anybody saw my Instagram recently, the main event for her birthday was to go to a wrestling show at the Great Hall. And it's an independent wrestling show.
I love it. Yeah.
She's not a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
No, none of us are. Nobody is. But the event itself is one of the greatest events of all time.
This is your second time attending?
Second. So the first one we went to was a Halloween show, and it was zombie wrestling. It's as incredible as it sounds. This is the second time we went, and it was during the regular season. Would you call it a season? Season, sure. Let's call it a season.
Yeah.
And 100% lost my voice, got so invested. There's a guy named Psycho Mike who's just the cream of the crop in terms of wrestling, made a special appearance. He got stabbed at one point as a pin, and the ref counted it. It was legal.
That was a 3. That was a 1, 2.
That was a 1, 2, 3 pin.
By getting stabbed. Oh my gosh! Wow.
It was absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Okay. Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Oh.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah. Okay. Why not? Mankind.
Mankind.
Mankind
Nick
was my
Foley.
number one. Yeah.
Dude Love.
Dude Love.
I like Dude Love.
Yeah. Who is yours?
I like early 90s, late 80s. Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, brother.
We used to have Macho Man Randy Savage cups in our cupboards.
Do you still have them?
No, I think they're gone now.
I would pay top dollar if you could play them.
No, sorry, they were Jake the Snake.
Also great.
He had the big
python.
Yeah, the big python around him. Yeah.
I like Macho Man and then The Rock. I was actually more team Stone Cold.
Yeah. Stone Cold was like, Stone Cold is the equivalent of Psycho Mike in the independent wrestling world.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I got to see this guy then. Do they do it like quarterly? Like when's the next one?
I think it's okay. I was told it's once every 6 weeks. The company is called Sidekick'd Wrestling.
Okay.
So
are they Toronto based?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I didn't look too far into it.
Fair.
When they show up, I just go.
Okay, we're going to the next one. For
sure.
100.
We need to go.
Okay, I'm down. And sorry, did you drink Tim Hortons coffee? I'm kind of I want to get this part of this segment. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I ordered another espresso from Tim Hortons, and I did. I'm not gonna lie, I did it twice. And
wait, twice since we've last spoken?
Twice since we last spoken. And I gotta be honest, they are inconsistent. It really, really didn't hold up the next 2 times.
I appreciate your honesty.
I got a special batch the first time. I swear to God. It was legitimately a good espresso.
You know what? I will say this. Some spots in the city, though, that's very common, even if it's not a chain. Like you just have a really good coffee one day and you keep chasing the rabbit. Like, it's going to be good and it never is again.
Yeah.
So maybe you had one of those magical experiences.
I swear to God I did, because the next couple were just, it basically just tasted like burning.
Yeah, that's pretty much Tim Hortons coffee. But no judgment, man. Everyone's got a drink. Yeah, I support the cause. I actually ate out quite a bit this week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was with Joe Cash and Alex Wong.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the elite sports media.
Yes, yeah.
City. We went to Amano down on King and Church.
Amano.
Yeah, it's an Italian place. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah.
We had a good time. Leafs got destroyed after that, so that sucked.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Thursday I went out with Dan Balm.
Oh, nice.
Shout out Dan Balm, agent at Sage. We went to Allen's on the Danforth, which is like a pub, but it's like they dress in nice white shirts and ties. It's so classy. Yeah. We had fish and chips. We split a burger and fish and chips. It was incredible.
A classy pub.
A classy pub.
I like
it.
It's
a good vibe.
Yeah.
Then the Leafs won. So I feel like
that was well, now you got to go back for the next game.
Well, last night the Leafs won again.
Did you go back?
No. Okay. But I will. But I did. Okay. So I don't even know how to approach this food experience. I just had 3 pizzas for lunch, like 3 whole pizzas for lunch.
Okay. Yeah.
We split amongst 4 adult men. It was a Napolitan style pizza in the Islington and Queensway area. I was told I'm not allowed to even say the place.
Okay.
But if somebody DMs me, I will gladly share it. But like, dude, this was next level pizza.
This sounds like top secret pizza.
It is. You can't order by the slice. You have to pay by e-transfer. You call in advance, pick up only. There's no tables. He might not even let you stand outside if you're the wrong type of person. Like he just doesn't like the cut of your jib. But my God, was the pizza ever delicious.
Really, eh?
Yeah. We did the Vesuvio pizza, which had sopressata on it. We did a margarita, which is cheese.
Yeah.
And then we did, I can't remember the last one, but it was capicolo.
Okay.
And it was sliced so thin, and he brought his coffees in between. Like, I don't even know who paid for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, but it was so good.
Oh, that sounds like I need to try that.
I might owe him 3 pizzas. Literally, I'm just thinking right now, like, nobody paid for that. Somebody must have paid for it. I don't know. It was incredible. DM me, I'll tell you the location, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. But this guy's been in business for 7 years, and he really doesn't care if you like how he works. And I like that. He's very passionate.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just like, this is how I do it.
Yeah.
You don't like it, go somewhere else.
That's it.
Yeah, it works. It's cool.
Amazing, man. Yeah.
That's all I got for food. The rest is on you. I don't know.
No, that was my food experience was very much that. Also, actually, I wanted to just say, after our wrestling show that we went to the Rivoli actually.
Okay.
On Queen West. Yeah. And we saw a band called the B Sharps.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Nope. Okay. They're a Simpsons cover band.
Okay, I was gonna say the B Sharps are from The Simpsons.
That's right.
But I'm like, that you can't. What? That's wild.
Yeah, so they only do Simpsons covers.
Like Monorail.
Yeah.
Mono.
It was honestly one of the. I loved every second of it. So I wanted to shout out the B Sharps because that was, if they're playing again in Toronto, I'm 100% going.
Okay, show notes. Let's find the B Sharps and shut them out. What songs did they do?
They did. So we only caught the last little bit.
Yeah.
They did. What did they do? I'm blanking on the names now. No, I don't remember them doing monorails when I was there.
Mr. Burns, when he talks about his loafers.
They do that song.
Yeah.
We didn't catch it, but I checked it out afterwards,
yeah.
and they do actually play that song.
It's the greatest song.
Yeah.
See my loafers, former gophers. Awesome.
Love it.
Oh man, that's so cool. The B Sharps. All right, let's check them out.
Yeah.
Do we pivot time?
Do we pivot time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the people want
The pivot. I love in the notes you just wrote pivot time.
Let's keep us organized here. You know what? Let's do a little sponsorship first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today's show, let me just get remember, we are on YouTube, so you're going to want to tune in for the visual art.
Yes.
More than just the audio art.
Let's throw in whatever sponsor you're about to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to get people to look at us online.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, whatever you got to do, you do. Hang on. I don't want to mess anything up here. So, last week you shouted out.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to what are they called?
Here we go. The Grain Studio.
The Grain Studio. I am holding, for those of you who are not tuned into YouTube at the moment, this gorgeous charcuterie board.
Yes.
Custom branded with my name, our logo, and a whole lot of real estate for all my deli meats. Look at this thing.
Yeah, and they're enormous, man. They look gorgeous. Honestly, they look gorgeous.
So this was gifted to me by your father.
Yes.
God bless him. Thank you, sir.
It comes from Dundalk Grain Studio.
I still don't know where Dundalk is, but
Yeah.
Grain Studio. They ship, I guess.
They ship. Yeah. I actually just watched them. Like I said, they do these. They also do these. They do big tables and
Like live edge.
live edge stuff.
Yeah.
And
you said bed frames.
yeah, they've done bed frames as well.
Okay.
They just shipped a huge table out to BC. I saw on their Instagram recently.
Nice.
Yeah. So they do big work. They also do, if there's live edge, and they do epoxy filling, which is a huge thing that they do as well. It's Alsu's and his son who's just like super passionate about this stuff.
Nice.
And yeah, they do awesome work.
Okay. Well, this week's brought to you by my charcuterie board.
Yes.
Made from
the Grain Studio.
in Dundalk.
In
To know?
Dundalk.
I was close. Beautiful Dundalk, Ontario. But I really appreciate this. This is great. It's going to get a lot of use. And at some point, I will serve you.
Fill it up.
Yeah, I'll serve you some charcuterie.
Love that.
On my board.
Love it.
Cool. Okay, now it's pivot time.
Now it's pivot time.
Yep.
Do we get the pivot noise? It's very important we get the pivot noise.
If I could remember it, yep. I think it goes a little something like. Yeah? Nailed it?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Pivot time. We're getting into today. Today is.
We are talking about how to be the best buyers. Last week we did sellers. This week we decided to talk about the buyer side.
And I'm calling it the Swan Show.
The Swan Show.
The Swan Show.
Oh.
Because this is your area of expertise. My throat's on fire from all the tomato sauce I had today. So we're going to let you handle this one. I'm going to maybe pipe in a bit, but tell the people what they need to know about how to become a better buyer.
All right. So let's kick off. So I'm going to just preface with this whole thing with, I'm going to give you three kind of main points. And I'll preface this with these 3 points. A lot of it has to do with the beginning stages of buying.
So it's a little bit of a buyer's 101.
Yes, exactly. A little bit of a buyer's 101 and just how to really set yourself up properly so you're going in with nothing but confidence into the purchase process.
Confidenza.
Yes.
I like it.
So let's talk about the tip number 1.
Good point.
Which,
you need a song for it? No.
We can do a jazz song. I want to hear your jazz rendition.
Of like instruments?
Whatever. It's all improv, man. It's got to jazz it up.
That's more like a thriller.
Someone's about to get murdered.
Yeah. You know who's going to get murdered? The competition. Because we got 3 tips to help you out. Tip 1, take it away, Joey.
All right. Tip 1, get your... Oh, hold on. How did I write this? I wrote this with a rhyme and I want to make sure I get it right.
Okay.
Get your team ready to go and get your ducks in a row. thriller.
It's serious business here, man. This has got to be focused in, laser focused.
All right, so let's kind of dig in here. So basically, when you're about to make the rounds into purchasing a place, you got 3 main professionals that are going to be your dream team and who are the most important people in the process. I will start by saying one is the real estate agent.
I'm showcasing Joey with my hands raised.
This is why you're going to watch on YouTube.
Yep.
Number 2 is the mortgage specialist. And number 3 would be your lawyer. Those are the 3 kind of crucial people that you need on your side. As a quick explanation of these pieces and how they play out in the process, think of your real estate agent as kind of your tour guide through the whole purchase process. They're there to make sure that you're asking the right questions, that your blind spots are covered. They're there basically to hold your hand and make sure that you're not going to miss anything that's going to come up either during the purchase process, while you own the house, or even after when you go to resell it. We're kind of looking out through the whole spectrum, as well as keeping the physical process from when you start searching to getting your paperwork together and kind of taking you to the closing. We're there to hold your hand that whole way.
I like what you said, where a guide is a really good describing word to what we do.
Right.
We don't make the decisions for you.
Yes.
We don't make you do X, Y, or Z. We just kind of guide you and show you potential pitfalls, maybe some benefits to the property that you can't see. And because we do this every day, we're a little bit, we look at things through a different set of lenses. So I like that. We're the guide to that.
Yeah, exactly. Nolan Mathias, who's a mortgage broker who does like big YouTube stuff.
Okay.
Solid. He actually, I like the way he worded it, and I kind of wanted to steal it. So I'm going to.
Yeah, theft is acceptable on this podcast.
He mentions a real estate agent. A good real estate agent is somebody who kind of covers your blind spots and gives you context for things that you don't necessarily have a frame of reference for.
I like that.
Use us as the backboard to what's kind of normal, what's expected, and what's not expected, and what's abnormal. I like that. I thought that was a good way to kind of put it.
Yeah. We're like the high level coach, and like the buyers are kind of like the athlete, and they've got the ability and the skill set to go about it, but it's our job to kind of guide them and direct them and to keep them in the right line.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So I'll kind of move on to the mortgage specialist. Sounds obvious. They're going to be the key player in everything financial going on in your life. You're going to let them know basically you're going to hand them your documents. They're going to be the ones either basically submitting your application to the lenders and giving you the kind of the scope of things in terms of everything financial based. Lastly, we got the lawyer. And the lawyer is the person who obviously is going to be offering you legal advice. They're the people who actually physically close the property and transfer the deed into your name. They're also your go-tos when it comes to, say you're buying a condo, you have a status certificate. They're the people you're going to reach out to review that and get a proper assessment on it. Make sure you're all kind of green lit from that standpoint. And yeah, that's generally the lawyer side.
The big three.
Those are the big three. Yeah. The big 3 players. And I wanted to kind of give an honorable mention to an accountant. They usually step in more on the investment side, but I would say they're a good person to have while you're going through all these processes. Just in general, they're just good people to have as a side advisor on how you're kind of approaching the process.
Yeah, and I think that ties back to the mortgage broker team member and the importance of them. If your taxes aren't up to date, they can't help you.
Yes.
So having an accountant who's, even if you're doing your own taxes, that's fine, but making sure your taxes are up to date is kind of a crucial hurdle to get through, one in life and 2 to purchase a property. Your taxes got to be up to date. So I like that. And we don't talk enough about an accountant, but having a good one is very important.
It can become very helpful. Yeah.
Especially with estate planning, and if you're buying for your children and you're not maybe doing a traditional purchase, the accountant is extremely important.
Yes. So, they can guide you. They can get your fundamentals set up very well. And last thing I wanted to make a point was, if you don't have connections to any of these people and you're kind of just starting completely fresh, I would say probably a good way to approach it is first interview realtors and find a realtor that you like. Yeah. They usually have trusted contacts, and those contacts, it makes the wheel turn very smoothly. Yeah. And they'll be able to point you in the direction of people that are kind of in the circle and just trust.
I went through 16 lawyers until I found the people I'm currently working with.
Right.
So I've got 3 good separate companies that I often advise, like different strokes for different folks. Some lawyers offer more than the others type thing, but it took me a good 16 to finally find this crew.
Right.
So if you're going in for your first time, ask us for recommendations. We've been through it.
Yeah, exactly.
We can separate the good from the not so good.
Yeah. And at least point out the differences and the benefits of going from one guy to another.
Yeah. Some people want that big corporate feel. Others want that one-on-one feel. And so we've got recommendations for all types of situations. And most of the lawyers we work with, 2 of the 3 also specialize in family law.
Right.
Which is really important if you're buying with a partner or if you're, going through divorce or again, family estate stuff. A lawyer who has that backing knowledge is also
very clutch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're going to talk about ducks in a row, the second half of the rhyme.
What was the first part? Ready to go.
Right, get your people ready to go.
Ducks in a row.
And your ducks in a row.
Let's hear the flow.
Look at this.
4 espressos deep, baby.
I was down in a couple before I came in today too. Okay, ducks in a row. When I talk about ducks in a row, I am specifically talking about a pre-approval. It's so important just to get this set up. You want to just make sure when you're online shopping, because I think everyone starts generally the same way. Pop on the internet. What can I afford? I don't know. Let's find out. You go to td.com. You just punch in the little pre-qualification questions, and they say, okay, well, it looks like I can afford 600,000. And then you start shopping online, and that's how you kind of approach it. But really, what you want to do is you want to either direct yourself to a mortgage broker or mortgage specialist in any capacity and go through the process of actually physically getting pre-qualified.
Yeah.
That means handing in documents.
Yes.
That means like you're gonna all your personal information is gonna start coming to surface, and you're gonna get a sheet back, and that sheet gives you the rate that they're promising you at the time, and giving you your terms of the mortgage that they're allowing for you as well.
Yep.
You want to have that sheet basically in hand, because then you can go in with confidence if you like a place to find out where your affordability is actually gonna lie. Knowing your interest rate alone helps you plan your monthly budget.
Yep.
If you don't have that, you can generally gauge it, but you don't really know what the bank's going to come back to you at until you submit those papers.
Yeah.
So you can do this stuff prior to shopping. So you might as well get that set up.
Yep. It's a lot of the process. I like to use the analogy of a puzzle. You have pieces all over the place.
Yeah.
And after talking to a bank, after talking to a broker, the pieces kind of come together, and you can really start to see what type of puzzle you're building here.
Yeah.
So I do like that tip of start with the real pre-approval process. Don't just fill out the online calculators, call up a broker, go through the process, submit your paperwork, get a hard answer back on what you could afford, what your rates will be. And that way you could better plan out your budget. So when you talk to us, we know what to keep it, what criteria to work with.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives you a clear picture. Like if come time, if you have a financial condition, you have an opportunity to check, like find out what the final answers are. You don't want to find out that you have an extra of, 40,000 that you didn't plan for, that all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, that they're not going to lend you as much as you thought they were.
Yeah. And that happens more often than you think.
Absolutely.
Like naively, somebody will fill out an online pre-qualification calculator or something and take that as the final word. And then, it's discovered that they haven't paid their taxes for a couple of years, and no, you're not getting anything.
Right.
So,
yeah.
If you need a referral for brokers, we've got some great ones, but you definitely want to at least get that hurdle done before you physically get out there and start looking.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then we're going to go on to tip number 2.
Yeah.
Tip number 2. Is there another jazz? Are we doing one for each?
For in my head, I'm like, should I do a Macho Man Randy Savage?
Like we're on a wrestling topic.
Yeah, I was like, are we be on? No, it doesn't even sound like that. Oh yeah, brother, you want to be honest with your realtor for tip 2? Slim Jim. Now we're fired up.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Can't wait for tip 3. Let's do this.
All right. So tip number 2, be honest with your realtor.
Yeah.
I wanted just to kind of put this in the notes because I think it's super important. Obviously, financials are very personal, and you want to take that seriously. But once you find a realtor that you trust and you've signed up and you're on board 100%, be open and honest with how the conversations with the mortgage brokers or banks are going.
Yeah.
And transparent, because we are looking out for your best interest from top to bottom. We are the people who are going to be letting you know what closing costs are going to be rotating around, and like really making sure you don't get pinched at the end of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And in a situation that you're tied to all of a sudden that you didn't want to be tied to, and then have your regrets come through and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I really kind of wanted to put that into play. Not only that, I'm gonna mention another kind of big benefit when it comes to being opened with your finance side when it comes to your realtor is if we're in a heated market and we are competing, presenting, being able to speak and present you properly to the other side actually holds huge value.
That could be worth more than the dollar amount.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you are now becoming a safer bet. If a realtor on the listing side asks me a question and they say, are you pre-approved? Is your client pre-approved? And I'm able to say, yes, they're pre-approved at TD. Yes, they also have, let's say, even if let's say you're putting down 30%, whatever the case of your structure is, I'm able to present you to the other side in a way that feels very confident for them, that they're not just going to be taking a gamble and then a conditional period hits and we turn around and say no, or everything fumbles at closing because we don't have our stuff together.
Yep.
So the more we can have together at the beginning and the more that we can communicate that to the other side, the more strong our offer comes across. So I just thought that was an important kind of piece to speak, because it is a lot of people get worried that they're releasing too much information to somebody they maybe have just met or
The money topic's hard. Nobody likes talking about money, how much they make, what they owe, all that stuff. So just by nature, it's a tough topic. But I think what Joey's saying speaks volumes is like, we have to have that trust and honesty where you feel open to tell me and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
And on the listing side, I can speak from experience. I've had sellers take the second or third place offer because they had more confidence in their financing.
Right.
So even though the dollar amount wasn't in first place, the ability to show a pre-approval letter, a connection to a bank, all that fun stuff gave us the assurance that, okay, we'll take a $10,000 hit to work with the person who has a sure chance of closing the deal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Security is everything, especially in a heated market. It's even more important. So yeah, that's kind of the main things I wanted to hit on topic 2. And topic 3, or tip, I guess 3. For those that don't know, there is a difference between a mortgage broker and walking into your local branch.
Yeah.
They're two different circumstances, and a mortgage broker is going to be able to kind of like take your order in a sense and then take all your information and be able to send that application out to multiple banks and multiple lenders.
Yeah.
Whereas a bank has their strict criteria of what they're looking for and their products that they're able to pitch you.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I mean, some people don't know this. It's especially like an earlier stage buyer, that you can get way more benefit from going with a mortgage broker as opposed to walking into your bank. Your options just open right up.
Yeah.
A way that you can think of it is if you walk into a restaurant and say, what can I eat? The restaurant's going to hand you their menu and say, this is your choices. Mm-hmm. A mortgage broker is like walking up to a guy in a neighborhood and saying, hey, what can I eat? And he'll point you in the direction of, let's say, Sandwichito.
Yeah. Nicely done.
And then he says, if you're not in the mood for sandwiches, well, there's sushi up the street, or there's a grocery store over here.
Good analogy.
And they'll be able to basically point you in the direction of what you're looking for, more so whether you're looking to pay down quicker, whether you're, and they hunt better rates for you or best rates for you.
For sure.
Throughout those lenders. So they're just kind of a better option. And if you're thinking to yourself that's probably comes with an extra cost, it actually doesn't.
Yeah.
They get paid from the lender once you're placed. So that's nothing that comes out of your pocket after the fact.
Yeah. You don't have to pay to speak with him.
Yes.
And one thing I find is like just the nature of the way banks are structured. The rep at the bank is probably in that position for a period of time, and then they're going to move on to another department.
Yeah.
A mortgage broker only does mortgages. So as opposed to a bank worker who may move through different departments, this is all they do.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll have a little bit more direct relations with different lenders, and they can kind of help sell your story a little bit better than the banks can. The banks are sometimes stuck to a more rigid set of internal rules, you can call it.
Yep.
Whereas brokers are able to kind of look at different ways of going about funding a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And not only that, but I'd also like to say that they're kind of in the same boat as a realtor in terms of like they are looking to present you in the best light as well. So they'll know how to pitch that to the lenders that they're speaking to and the people that they have relationships with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So just kind of wanted to point out those two, I guess, differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally use a broker for all of my personal purchases. One, I've developed a good relationship with him through the business of selling real estate, but I also find they just spend more time educating me on what my options are.
Right.
Whereas the bank's kind of like, you're at an Italian place, here's the spaghetti, enjoy it, right? Whereas the mortgage broker, I'm just trying to use that same analogy.
Yeah.
The mortgage broker will, really present different ways of structuring a deal and what different lenders can offer you. And sometimes you could put down a little bit less and get the same type of payments out. So there's just more flexibility I find with a broker. But ultimately, work with who you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've been a long time, let's use TD as a example, a long time TD banker or customer, and you've got a good rapport and you feel comfortable, hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Yeah.
We're just advising you to, look at all other options, but ultimately, whether it's the lawyer or the broker, it's use who you're most comfortable with and who you find
It's trust.
most trustworthy.
Yeah.
Or who's educating you the best, who's explaining the process the best to you, right?
Yes, also true.
Yeah, because you get a vibe when someone's just like, fill out this paperwork and I'll tell you how much you're worth, versus like, okay, let's look at what you're trying to accomplish and then the path to get us there.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
All right. I like that. I've got some tips, but I think they're a little bit more for like the practical side of things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about actually, the showing and just the straight ahead.
Yeah, I think so. What Joey did really well is that's everything you need to know to prepare yourself to get out there.
Yeah.
And I think really you shouldn't be physically going to look at properties until you've got your pre-approval in place, because you don't want to fall in love with something and then find out the banks are going to lend you money on it.
Right.
Or you don't want to be looking at places and realize I can actually get a lot more than I thought I could, right? So you want to get these things done. Just some quick advice I would offer is dress comfy when you're going out to look at places. Yeah. I love a good slip-on shoe. Sometimes I'll go out in like little loafers, I guess you call them.
Yeah.
Because you just slip them on and off. So like when you go to look at properties, wear comfy clothing, wear shoes that can come on and off quick and easy. Don't wear 7 layers of jackets because you're gonna have to take them off every time you walk into a new place.
Yep.
So comfort is key. Bring all your decision makers with you.
Yeah, I think that's a nice one.
Especially in this heated market. The deal we did a couple of weeks back, the client wanted her parents to take a look at it. I have no problem with that. I actually encourage that. Mm-hmm. The more eyes on a property, the more advice we can kind of all talk about and get through. But we had to move quick. And so she was great to get her parents into the house like 20 minutes after the phone call. They saw it. Everyone was on board. They liked it. We could do the offer.
Yeah.
But especially if you're a couple and you're like, oh, my partner's working, I won't show the place. I would prefer if both of you could be there.
Right.
If we have to do a FaceTime video, sure. But it really, this is a big purchase. You really got to dedicate the time to have both decision makers or however many are there to come take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The speed of it is very important, especially these days, right?
Yeah.
Right at the moment.
Yeah. Within hours, the properties could be gone, right? So you want to make sure all decision makers are ready to go for it. And I guess the last one would be more on a philosophical level, like the house will find you.
Right.
Don't be so beat up if you do lose 2 or 3 bidding wars. You might have to fall in love 5 times before you find the one.
I like it. Yeah.
But in all the years of doing this, no matter how many times a client has lost out on the house, the one they get in the end truly is the best one.
Love it.
And if we hadn't lost 4 times, the 5th one wouldn't have come up.
Right.
Yeah. I like that.
I like it. Yeah.
I like my advice.
I like your advice.
Thank you. Your advice is pretty awesome too, Joey.
Why, thank you.
All right, so summarize it up. So what do we need here?
So
what's the dream team?
Yeah, the dream team. So we're going to get our real estate agent,
Yep.
our mortgage broker,
Yep.
and our lawyer in order.
Yep.
And if you have an accountant,
Go ahead, finish.
and if you have an accountant, very beneficial to let them know what's happening and fill them in and get their advice on the piece.
So of the big 3, who do you think they should reach out to first?
I would say realtor first.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's just probably the best person. And honestly, they have connections too, so they can even give you people to speak to in general. So
yeah, and if you've started with either the mortgage broker or the lawyer, ask for referrals who are realtors they work with.
Yeah,
you could ask them for advice as well.
Yeah,
on that side. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's number 1. So first thing is get your team in order. Second thing is get your finances in order. As number 2. Before you really start taking step foot into some homes. Then once you have your pre-approval in order, make sure that you're filling in your realtor and keeping them up to date with how things are looking and how things are progressing.
Yeah.
Always a good idea. And then number 3 is when you're having your conversation with your mortgage broker, or your bank, I would say get a little bit of a scope, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe call one or two before you make your final decision.
Yeah, and if you're going the bank route, there's nothing wrong with going to your CIBCs, your RBCs, your TDs. The challenge is every time you do that, it will impact your credit score.
Right.
But if you're working with a broker, they can pitch your application to several different lending options, and it does not affect your credit score.
Yes.
They just pull it once.
They pull
and
it
then
once.
send
Yeah.
it off to them.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. Any shout outs?
Shout outs. No, well, the grain studio was a shout out for me today.
Okay.
Well, you brought it, but
It's okay. Yeah, we can share shout outs.
I don't, we're sharing. We're sharing.
share the
That's our shout out.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to shout out Dan Balm, Sage Real Estate.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy to have a lunch with.
Yeah.
Great guy to work with as a realtor.
I do have a shout out, actually. Mortgage broker extraordinaire.
Jason Frieson, Chris Mulder.
Chris Mulder. And Jason Friesen.
Yeah, you're in good hands.
Both of them, you're in great hands.
Yeah.
But Chris Mulder, I wanted to give we gave one to Jason Friesen last
week.
episode.
Yeah.
So this I wanted to give Chris. He's incredible. He's helped me out in a pinch over Easter weekend the last little bit, and he's just like a great communication.
Yeah, and this was what to say. The thing about him is that he took the time to call you to explain the situation, to make sure you were well versed on what your can and cannot do's were with the transaction.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes down to just finding someone you can develop that trust and confidence in.
Yeah.
Because they are worth their money so much over.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, shout out Chris Mulder, shout out Jason Friesen.
Yes, both of them.
Yeah. Dan Baum, Joey, Alex. I don't know. We got episode 10 coming next week.
We do. Oh, man.
That's kinda wild.
There's a surprise coming in episode 10.
There is
too.
a surprise.
We have a surprise coming.
A third member. Well, I mean, a guest. I don't have it's just you and me, man. Yeah, we have someone else coming out next week. We're going to start interviewing some people in the field, I guess.
Yeah.
And have a little fun, get to know kind of them and places they like to enjoy in the city and some advice they have for us in real estate. So we got that. Who would your dream host guest be?
Dream guest.
Yeah.
Oh, good question. Good question. I feel like you might have thought of this.
No.
Oh, you were
No. I'm just trying to fill up the time so we get to a certain time of it. It's really off the cuff.
Dream guest. Oh, good question. Good question.
I think I know who you'd pick.
Who do you think I'd pick?
Julian Casablanca.
Yeah, okay.
That's
hard to say no to. Yeah, that's hard to say no to.
I mean, real estate wise, I don't know who you'd pick. I don't know who you.
If we're talking musicians. Yeah, no question. Actually, the Strokes just released.
Oh yeah.
They released like a collective, like of all their old stuff, and they released a song that I hadn't heard before.
Oh nice.
And it's been on repeat since I found
It's like a brainworm, like you can't get it.
I can't stop it.
Yeah. I don't know who I would want.
Yeah, who's number one? No, not real estate, not included, or included, whatever, doesn't matter. Absolutely anybody.
JC.
JC.
No, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Sorry.
I was like, Julian Casablancas too, yeah.
No. I was slurring there. Jay-Z. Sean Carter. Full legal name.
Jay-Z.
I don't know.
So we're going musicians on this.
I would want to know, like, okay, yeah, because I've always been intrigued. Like, if you're a musician, you're making all this bank, what do you do with your money? Maybe Drake, just to see where I know who. His interior designer of his house.
Oh my
Ferris Fajules. I don't know his name. Ferris. Great looking guy. He builds gorgeous homes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd love to know like what his process is, his inspiration is.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, something in between the lines of like music and design.
I like it. Yeah, I like that.
Person. But next week's guest is just as important as all that. She's going to kill us. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Episode 9.
One for the time.
I don't know.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150